Good morning, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to today's TP Talk webinar. Today, I'm joined by Mark Nolan, Vice President, Global Customer Care with T-Mobile. Mark will share insights to the very innovative Team of Experts model and how they are transforming the customer service landscape with a paradigm-shifting service model. In case you're wondering whose voice this is, I'm your moderator today, Amit Shankaras, Executive Vice President of Global Market Engagement with Teleperformance. A couple of housekeeping items before we begin. You will notice there are several related resources available for you to download in the Resources widget to the right of your screen. This webinar is designed to be interactive. You'll see multiple icons at the bottom of your console. Use them. If you have questions as we go through this conversation, we'd love to receive those. Please submit your questions in the Q&A window on the left of your screen. Do this anytime during the conversation. We've already received several questions during the registration process that we'll address as we go through this. There's a help widget at the bottom. It looks like a question mark. And if you'd like to email us, use the little email widget. First and foremost, what is TP Talks? As curators of the customer experience, we are very pleased to bring you this series of webinars called TP Talks. It is a 30-minute webinar series designed to help you as curators of your customer experience for your companies. From this, you will learn from best practices, big trends, innovations, real-world success stories from people just like yourselves. We've worked very diligently with our clients to curate this content for you. By the way, you can subscribe to this series of TP Talks. Talk about that at the end of this. A little bit about your host today, Teleperformance. We've been serving industry-leading brands for almost 4 decades with a focus on making each interaction count in 160 markets around the world. If you've ever called for customer care, engaged in a chat, filled out a form, or posted online about a brand, chances are you've interacted with us. We support leading companies across verticals and channels, including customer care, tech support, customer acquisition, digital solutions, that are very prolific today, analytics, back office processing, and other specialized services. Why do I share this with you? Because Teleperformance is committed to partnering with our clients to find innovative ways to make each interaction count. And this webinar is a reflection of our commitment. We're particularly honored by awards and recognition we get from analysts in various leadership quadrants, and more so by recognition by our clients for the ability to help them curate their customer experience. This making a palpable difference to their brands. This is a manifestation of our mission to make each interaction count. But enough about us. Let's get to the meat of this. I'd now like to introduce you to our guest speaker, Mark Nolan. Mark leads T-Mobile's global customer care organization, which includes 20-plus call centers in 6 countries. As the Vice President of Global Care, Mark is also responsible for strategic planning, operations, and overall performance of T-Mobile's partners. Under his guidance, Global Care has gone through a significant change. And you'll hear about that, the Team of Experts. This model, and to say it's change is an understatement, it's a paradigm shifter. It is, as they call it, a very uncarrier move. With that, Mark, thank you for what you're going to share with us, and I will hand over to you, Mark.
Amit, thank you. And thank you to the Teleperformance team for this great opportunity for me to join TP Talks. I really appreciate it and very excited to talk about our team of experts. Also, thank you to everyone, the attendees that have joined today to hear about Team of Experts. Before I go into the Team of Experts, I thought what I would do is kind of get a little bit of history lesson, T-Mobile, and talk about our journey with Young Carrier. 5 years ago, all the major wireless carriers were pretty much the same. We all had contracts, we had buckets, we had overages, we had termination fees, all sorts of customer limits and restrictions. And there was really nothing that differentiated us, T-Mobile, from our competitors. As a matter of fact, 5 years ago, T-Mobile was the number 4 carrier in the U.S. We were just coming off a failed merger with AT&T. 5 years ago, we were bleeding customers. We didn't have any LTE network. Heck, 5 years ago, we didn't even have the iPhone. And probably the toughest part when I think back to 5 years ago was our employee base. Our morale was low. People were sad. There was a lot of uncertainty around the future. Our competitors, they kept attention on their network to lure customers. And they may have had a faster network than we did 5 years ago, but they still treated the customers the same. Competitors, they told the customers what the customers would get, regardless of what that customer wanted or what the customer needed. And I think everybody knows who our competitors are. They're no small companies. They're very formidable players. And to put things in perspective, if you look at the market capitalization for our competitors, they're over $225 billion each for market capitalization. T-Mobile, we're under $60 billion with our market capitalization. Clearly formidable opponents for us. So 5 years ago, we knew we had to change. We knew we had to take risks if things were going to get better. And we knew we had to start punching way above our weight class. And this is when the Un-carrier was born. And really, the Un-carrier, it's really simple. We were no longer going to act or behave like the other carriers. We were determined to break the rules of wireless carriers and transform our business. And we have transformed our business via the Un-carrier strategy. And it was really simple. First, we listened to our customers. We heard their pain points. We took action. Second, we listened to our employees, heard what was keeping them from delighting our customers. Then we started removing those roadblocks. We eliminated contracts. We got rid of overages, and we got rid of global roaming fees. We started to roll out Un-carrier move after Un-carrier move after Un-carrier move, all to address the pain points of our customers. It was all focused on empowering our customers, while at the same time providing an honest, simple, effortless service to them. When we say we've changed wireless for good, we mean it. We have made wireless better for every customer, not just T-Mobile customers. And the best part, these changes are forever. The Un-carrier moves have been successful because of our foundational strategy, putting our customers first. This next slide, this shows you some of our key metrics, where T-Mobile was 5 years ago and where we are today. 5 years ago, our churn rate was 2.5%. Today, 1.01%. That 1.01% is a 19 basis point improvement year over year. Q4, we even saw our churn break below a 1.0%. Look at our 4G LTE pops. 5 years ago, we didn't have any LTE. Today, we have over 324 million pops of LTE. And not only do we have 324 million pops of LTE, we have the fastest network out there. 5 years ago, T-Mobile had 33 million customers. Today, 79 million customers. Q4 alone, we added 2.4 million total net customers. Q4 marked the 23rd consecutive quarter in a row where we've generated more than 1 million net adds in a quarter. 2018 marked the 5th consecutive year in which we've added more than 5 million customers. From a CSAT perspective, 5 years ago we were last. Today we're first. And I'll talk about CSAT results a little later in my presentation. And for those of you who are T-Mobile shareholders and own some TMUS, this next data point will really make you smile, because 5 years ago, if you own TMUS, that stock was at $16. Today, our stock, TMUS, is at $67. So overall, you can clearly see the Un-carrier strategy: focus on our customers, give them what they want, remove their pain points, focus on the employees, remove the barriers, are absolutely working. And as you can tell, as I talked about the Un-carrier, we have a deep belief and a passion at T-Mobile to take care of our customers, take care of our employees. But we know not just the wireless industry is broken, customer service is broken everywhere. 80% of customers across the globe are not satisfied how businesses respond to their needs, to their issues, to their problems. And that's across all kinds of businesses, not just wireless. Includes banking, consulting, retail, includes insurance, includes airlines, all types of businesses. Today, half of customers say they're not treated with dignity when getting customer service support. But you know what? It's 2019. Customers aren't taking it sitting down. They have forums today on social media, and they're coming out in droves to publicly express their frustration. They're yelling from the rooftops when brands segment, mistreat, flat out ignore them. So we took a step back and we asked ourselves, what is truly does customer want? And we know that an exceptional experience has happened when our customers are happy, when customers want to stay longer with us, when a customer wants to deepen their relationship with us. And we're able to do all that, and the customer is able to do all that with less effort. So those are the pillars of our team of experts. Now let me take a minute and talk about the new rules for customer care. And these are the rules that, as we've looked at care being a pain point for customers, our rules for care at T-Mobile, our rules for our customers. Rule number one, we're going to make it easy for you to connect with us whenever, wherever you want. We make it easy. You will never have to repeat yourself, ever. A traditional care organization or customer service organization is skill-based. And you get this call center runaround. And that call center runaround starts after going through a maze called the IVR. But team of experts, it's changed that game. Rule number three, you have a community of experts who will get it right the first time. And then our last new rule for customer care is, you want to fix it yourself? We'd be happy to show you how. Whether that's through an app on your phone or whether that's on T-Mobile.com. You even want to see your team of experts? You can go on your app, your T-Mobile app, and see exactly who your team of expert is. So those are our pillars, and then our new rules for customer care. But now what I want to do is really start getting into the meat and potatoes of team of experts and talk about the roles and responsibility and how they've changed. Before a team of experts, we had amazing people. And they were focused and had a passion for solving customers' issues. But we didn't give them the resources to do it. They had limited opportunities to learn more than just their base skill set. Transfers, normal part of the business. And our measurements were as much focused on efficiencies as they were on the customer experience. But with team of experts, that changed. With team of experts, we empowered our teams to help a customer, no matter what the issue. Our team of experts have their own dedicated customer base that they get to know and care about. How cool is that? That they get their own dedicated customer base that they get to know and care about. We also gave our team of experts team goals so they can truly start thinking and acting like business owners. Then last is permissions to stay on the line, not just to hustle people off the phone so they can get to the next call. Stay on the line, no CRT metrics. Take the time you need to own that customer experience. So team of experts with roles, it's about empowering our experts. It's about giving them that dedicated customer base, having them team goals that allows them to act and think like business owners. And then last, eliminating CRT and that pressure to move on to the call, but really letting them, unleashing them to take ownership of each and every single issue that comes across their desk. Now let me transition to talk about our P&L. And because we assigned each one of our teams a customer base, we're able to establish a P&L for each one of our teams. This has established a CEO philosophy with our frontline through a profit and loss dashboard. Each team has their very own P&L. It allows them to act like business owners. They own the happiness and the health of their market. It permits local goal setting and market differentiation, allowing for market uniqueness, and it allows, which is really cool, it allows our leaders to manage differently. Our experts understand and know what EBITDA are, our very front line. And every single day, every action they take, they understand how what they're doing impacts T-Mobile's profits and T-Mobile's losses with it. They're focused on getting answers right the first time and making customers happy. We've truly empowered our experts. And I will tell you, with all the changes and transformations that have taken place with Team of Experts, the P&L dashboard and the P&L tool has truly been our game changer.
Hey, Mark, if I may, real quick, interject here for a quick second. So it's really interesting how you've changed this philosophy of making them P&L owners, and we talk about how you motivate people, and how you incent people, how you bonus people has an impact on their behaviors. How has this changed the behaviors? Or maybe you can give us some examples of how it's changed the behaviors of your frontline experts when they deal with customers. What are they doing differently? What have you seen them do differently?
Yeah, Amit, hey, great question. And thank you for asking that. Let me use a really simple scenario that I think will resonate with everyone. So if I think of before Team of Experts, a very common call type that would come into one of our frontline representatives is, hey, you need to make a payment on my account. If I'm a frontline expert, I'm thinking, hey, this is a pretty easy call. Let me take that payment and move on to the next call. Simple, quick solution. But if I'm in Team of Experts and I'm working in P&L, I've got two goals, really two metrics. It's my P&L and NPS. And if I think like a business owner, I might look and think, okay, this customer is calling in to make a payment arrangement. Well, that tells me that that customer is not on auto pay. And I know on auto pay because that P&L model is based, if you can imagine some of the standard from a profit perspective, if I'm adding additional lines to a customer's account, that's going to help the profit side with it. If I'm reducing calls, that helps on the profit side. On the loss side, that is if calls are increasing. If I have higher number of callbacks, my delinquency impacts on the loss side. So if I can say, instead of just taking a quick payment and moving on, why don't I stop and talk to this customer and set them up on an auto pay? Because I know if I can put that customer on an auto pay, that customer is going to call less than our average customer. It's going to make it easier for the customer because they won't have to call or write a check every single month. The payment will take care of itself. I know customers on auto pay are happier and have a much higher NPS with it. I also know if they're on our T-Mobile One rate plan, they get $5 less. So it makes it easier, makes it happier for the customer, and it creates less effort. So they're rewarded in that P&L. And that call in team of expert environment might take a little bit longer than the previous one, but in the long run, right thing for me to do as a business owner, because it's the right thing for T-Mobile, right thing for our customer. Hopefully that helps.
Yeah, yeah, no, that's really interesting, Mark. I've also heard about the fact that if an individual, a team of expert individual doesn't really have the answer, they don't know, and they have to pull an outside vendor or third party, etc., and they pull them in, they stay back and they learn about that same topic, so they're better armed and more knowledgeable, which, to your point, is more investment on their time, but can clearly see what those results, this very next slide will talk about. It's interesting to see what results you've achieved with this.
Yeah, Amit, thank you. Yeah, I obviously very happy to share this slide. I mentioned before, J.D. Powers 5 years ago, we were last. Today, clearly team of experts is making a difference. And the best part is it's working. And we've seen that not just with our internal metrics, but we're also seeing that with external benchmarks. If I look at, from an internal metric perspective, 2017, our internal NPS metric was 47. 2018, it improved to 66. That's a great improvement. Our calls per account from 2017 to 2018, over 33% reduction, calls per account. We've seen our credits, adjustments we make to customers' account, drop in half. We've seen our FCR show significant improvement as well. But it's not just our internal metrics. Our externals you see on the slide here. J.D. Powers, we won first half of the year. J.D. Powers gives their award out twice a year. We won for the first half. We've gotten results for the first 5 months for the second half of the year. Based off our 18-point lead after the November results, confident we will win the second half of 2018 as well. And not only are we winning, we're posting the highest J.D. Power scores ever in wireless. And we're seeing the same thing with Harris X produces their survey results every single month. Every single month in 2018, we're coming out T-Mobile #1 for those scores. Let me go ahead and wrap this up so we can get to some questions. I started the conversation because I really wanted to talk about the Un-carrier strategy. I think it's important, if you don't know and weren't familiar with the Un-carrier journey, that you understood fundamentally who T-Mobile was. And it's really simple. We listen to our customers and remove their pain points. We listen to our employees and remove the barriers that are preventing them from delighting the customers. And that Un-carrier foundation is really where Team of Experts started and how we built Team of Experts. For us, when our customers want to reach a human, we refuse to put a barrier in place. We refuse to add another pain point. We want to deepen the customer relationship. We want to pull the customers closer today in a day and age where most companies are trying to push those customers away from them. Whether it's a phone maze or transfers or clunky robots, we'll always be different and listen to our customers because we understand great care starts with our people. And this slide shows one of our teleperformance Vertus North Team of Experts that is out there delighting our customers day in and day out. So thank you for the opportunity to let me share and talk about Team of Experts. I think we have time for maybe 1 or 2 more questions.
Indeed, we do. In fact, we have several questions, so I'll try and categorize them into, paraphrase some of them. And this question, several people have asked this question. What was the timeline to transition to this model, and what metrics were used to validate success? So let's start with the timeline. How long did it take you? How long did this journey take you? I think you mentioned early on 5 years ago you were at a particular place, but where has it taken you?
It's taken us, that's a great question. It's been over 3 years, this journey. I can think back, we initially started with some internal pilots 2015. And really, we are just completing the Team of Expert rollout Q1 of this year, where by March we'll be 100% rolled out with all of our teams in all of our communities. So it's been 3.5 to 4 year journey. And as far as the metrics, you heard me. We look internally. We have our metrics that we're looking at. Clearly, things that I called out earlier, the customer satisfaction scores. We're looking at our cost of serves, our number of calls that it's impacting, the credits that we give to customers. Externally, the typical measurements that we've always looked at, JD Powers, Harris X, are those key measurements that we look at.
Great, thank you. And the questions keep on rolling in, so folks, if you have a question, please send it. We'll get to as many as we can and then answer them on the back end. The other question that a couple of people have asked is, what's the biggest pain point in implementing this solution? What's been the biggest challenge?
Yeah, that's a great question, because I'm sure everybody on the call has been through, different journeys throughout your career of rolling something out. And, this has been 3 to 4 year journey, and to think about where we are today versus where we were 3 to 4 years ago. There's been a lot of learning lessons for us. The biggest pain point, I think, if you talk to anyone at T-Mobile, would be really teaching our leaders to think differently, to move away from thinking transactionally and to thinking about each and every single call, to thinking like business owners. And when I say that, that was the biggest challenge, that wasn't on our frontline supervisors or managers. That was on BPs like myself. As we went through, realized, we weren't providing the training and the support needed. And as we started to evolve, we realized, pretty quickly early on that was probably one of the biggest opportunities, was making sure we're putting that training out there. I really spent time, and I added that slide. I think I added it in last minute about the P&L, because that was really the tool that changed allowed our folks. It was a tool that they can go into and they can change, the metrics and project, hey, if I start to really focus on my DX, what will that do to my P&L? If I start to, improve my first call resolution, what does that do to my P&L? And how do I put strategies in place as a frontline manager, right? Like, that's truly becoming a business owner. And once they had that tool, we provided the training. How do I then take that tool and share it with my team and coach them to act and think differently? That really started to catapult us. The one other thing, and this is probably more, as you can imagine, everyone on this call, we went from being, call routing was next available agent 4 years ago. But for us to really be able to provide the own customer base, and when I say own customer base, each team of expert owns a customer base of about 120,000 customers. So the second part that was probably one of the biggest challenges was just the call routing, because we wanted the customer bases to be aligned based off of geo. So you saw on the slide that I had when I talked about the P&L tool, if I'm a team of experts, I could have Philadelphia, and my 120,000 customers are part of that Philadelphia market. So to be able to set up all the skills necessary for that geo-based routing, it's a good thing. With the P&L tool, we've got people a lot smarter than myself working at T-Mobile to be able to put those, that help us with that geo-based routing, put the tools and training in place to be able to support our frontline and bring this to life. The other thing I'll talk about with the P&L, because I've talked a lot about it from the care perspective, but what's really neat, if you think about, I own my base, my 120,000 customers in Philadelphia. It makes it easy for me then to talk to my retail partners and vice versa. For those folks who, managers, senior managers or directors who own that retail in the Philadelphia market, they know exactly who to call on the care side. And we also know from an engineering perspective who to talk to. So as I start to see trends coming in about offers that one of my competitors might be putting out into the marketplace, we hear about that in a day. We can quickly reach out to retail, quickly then engage and say, hey, how do we counter that? And we can react very, very quickly. So I think I spent a couple of minutes answering the questions about some of the pain points, but I wanted to kind of address it from an operations perspective as well, from some of the support perspective.
Oh, thank you, Mark. And as a follow-up to that, very quickly, a lot of folks are really intrigued with the P&L piece. Very quickly, several questions around people incented and bonus based on the P&L.
They are based off the P&L, and that P&L is at a team level, right? So my own team. So that way, think about the ultimate from an accountability perspective, because, in the past when it's next available agent, I get a really difficult call. Maybe I don't put the time and effort into it because I'm concerned about my CRT. But now, if I don't put the time and effort into it and that customer has to call right back, there's a good chance they get me, or if they don't get me, they get the person sitting next to me. So we all own, and that's really, drives accountability. Also accountability with our customers. There's also times where a customer doesn't like what they heard. They want to call back in and see if they can roll the dice, get a different frontline agent, and see if that different frontline agent will give them a different answer. So it ensures accountability across the board. But we have two really key metrics out there, and it's that P&L and an NPS. 50% of the goals are at the team level, 50% are individual level for our frontline experts.
Great. Thanks, Mark. Mark, there are a bunch more questions, but we have hit the top of the hour, so let me close this out very quickly. For everybody on the call, there's an on-demand version of this will be available, so if you would like to review again or have other members of your team attend the webinar, please feel free to download register for the on-demand version. There also is a subscription button there where you can subscribe to TP Talks and view any of the future ones here. Download the resources that are available to you. And with that, let me wrap up. Mark, thank you so very much. This is obviously not an easy journey. It's one that's taken a lot of time, energy, and effort. You can see the enthusiasm and the energy that goes into doing this, and obviously the results. Very much appreciate your taking the time today to share your journey, your insights with us. Mark, thank you.
Amit, thank you. We're very excited, and we're just getting started.
Excellent. Everybody else, we'll see you hopefully on a new TP Talks. And with that, it's a wrap for today. Thank you, everybody.